And how'd you get hit, right? So if we take a look at this situation, what's happening here, right? So even though you're +1, and I'll talk a little bit of frame data here because it'll kind of highlight what I'm talking about. So even though you're plus here, you elect to press a button that's a little bit slower, right? Let's take a look at what happens, right? So after this crouching medium punch, right? Rashid is +1, right? So on block, that means you're first to act, right? The issue is then you press crouching medium kick right after this, right? Right there, right? So crouching medium kick is what you press after this, right? So what Bison presses here is actually a jab, right? So Bison's crouching light punch, if I'm not mistaken, is actually his 4-framer, right? If you look at the frame meter here, right? You're first to act, so you press your crouching medium punch again, it looks like. Let's see. So crouching medium punch, you press it a second time, right? Right, so right here, you are first to act, right? You are +1. So you press your button here, your 6-framer, and they press their 4-frame, right? So technically, right, because you're +1 here, mashing against this means normally you would be able to frame trap them by pressing a 4-frame button of your own, right? You would just get a counter hit of some kind, right? I don't play Rashid, so I'm not 100% sure on what you would get out of this, but if you think about the situation here, because you're first to act, this means that whatever button that Bison is pressing is coming out 1 frame slower, right? But the issue is he presses a button that comes out faster than yours normally, right? So he presses a 4-frame to get your 6-frame, right? So even though he's 1 frame later than you, it's still going to come out before yours does, right? So the reason I bring this up is because you have to be careful about autopiloting mediums into mediums against players like this that will mash against anything, right? So if you notice this happening over and over again, then you don't need to press the second button here. You got to be careful about pressing that, or you press something faster, right? So,
okay. I assume people after 2 throws are going to do something different, because why would they take the 3rd throw? So I was banking on a tech.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I autopilot because it would have popped him up if he would have teched.
Yeah, or if he had pressed the jab or something here, right? Like if they tried to challenge you, tech. Yeah. So the wish punish, as it's affectionately known, space trap with punish, whatever you want to call it. This is actually fine, I think. It's just that it can be tough when opponents notice you doing that. They'll start jumping or doing something else. Actually, I think it's totally fine. Right? If you were reading tech and just went for the button, I think it's okay. Because at worst, right, they block it. Again, Rashid's -5 here, so it's kind of risky. But if you just went for that, I think that's fine, right? The better solution there would be to react to what they do. So throw tech is typically very reactable, and so is parry. So if you had just backed up, so 1, 2, right? Right. So something like that, right? And again, you don't have to do this. Like you can just continue autopiloting and stand heavy kick in that situation. I think you'll mostly be fine. The reason for that is because the pushback and the space that you kind of occupy there, if you press it at the timing you've been pressing it, I think even if like you'd probably be safe most of the time, right? For most 5-framers probably can't reach you from there. So totally okay to do that. But if you wanted to be able to punish the parry as well as the throw tech, it's probably better to react, right? And the reason for that is the shimmy that you do by just backing up and waiting actually beats multiple options, right? So if the opponent decides to throw tech, you can react to that with your stand heavy kick and then get your conversion. If they decide to parry, you can just walk up and throw them. If they decide to jump, you'd actually be able to DP them, right? So if you autopiloted the stand heavy kick like you did and the Bison elected to jump, they may be able to cross you up here, right? So if I take a look at that same situation with the Bison, and I hold up forward, right, you get crossed up, right? I don't actually know Bison's conversion there, but we see the situation there, right? If you autopilot that, you actually lose to another option, not like the forward jump, that you would have been able to cover had you tried to react to what was happening, right? So something to consider, especially as like a field-based player. Like you said, they're going to do something different on the 3rd throw. So I should be ready for what I think they're going to do or what options they could present in that situation, right? So I feel like they're going to do something other than block. What could that be? And how can I beat as many of those things as possible, right? Now, again, there's a little more onus on you because you have to react to that and you can't just autopilot it. But I think in the longer term, you'll get better. As you do this more and more, it'll become easier to just kind of autopilot the reacting to what's happening, right? Like you shimmy. Oh, I see the jump. All right, DP, right? Because you can, or jump back, anti-air, whatever, right? Oh, I see the throw. I can use my stand heavy kick at that point because it is reactable. Oh, I see the parry. I just walk up the throw, right? So now you're beating multiple options, right? So. Okay. Oh no! So you get caught by your own autopilot here again, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is exactly what I was saying, right? Is that if they jump, you're getting crossed up. Again, I don't hate the decision to go autopilot here, right? Maybe that's okay. Something you could consider though is you could do a different button here, right? So instead of doing the stand heavy kick, which is this huge committal button, right? Maybe you do something like this instead, right? So you're waiting for this, right? So you see how I didn't actually get punish count there?
Yeah.
So if you're gonna autopilot that situation, again, it's totally fine if you want to do that. I have nothing against playing that way. You could potentially think about doing a faster button that you can recover in time to anti-air or at least block in that situation, right? Because think about it, right? If you press that stand medium punch and it counter hits them, you get the crouching medium kick drive rush, right? You get the conversion that you would have normally gotten. Well, maybe not as good a conversion, but you do get a conversion from it, right? And you reduce your own mental stack and you can just press whatever, right? Because at that point, let's think about it, right? So if I go back to the situation here and I want to autopilot my shimmy and I just press that button, what am I really looking out for now, right? I've committed to pressing my stand medium punch in this case, right? If it hits, great. I'll convert that into whatever, right? If it whiffs, I can react to what happened, right? Because like I push the button, I'm committed to that button. Now I'm just looking for like if it hits or they jump, right? If they block, if it hits or blocks, or if they jump or do something I can punish, right? Because then if you do that, potentially you can OD mixer here, or mixer, right, from there, or anti-air of some kind. Pretty sure you can mixer here, but
yeah,
anyway.
so my anti-air is just crouching medium punch. So yeah.
So that situation could have worked, right? So just go. I mean, it's tough, right? But like at least you put yourself in a position where you have a chance, right? If you do stand heavy kick there and they jump it, you're done, right?